that mean?
What's the matter, Gene Silva? You don't want to bark anymore? Because Gene Silva, that was kind of cringe, I can't lie, got put down. The dog got put down by Diego Lopes. Now, Diego Lopes, Gene Silva, this was the main event of UFC Noche. We'll talk about the rest of the card. It was a great card, but this was the main thing. This was the craziest thing I've probably seen all year. This was one of the craziest fights I've ever seen. I got to say that. As crazy as that might sound, if you haven't seen this fight, watch it, bro. Stop gooning to Tracy Cortez. Watch this fight. Then you can finish gooning. This fight was tremendous, right? From the first round where, you had Diego Lopes just, in my opinion, just kind of almost 10-8ing Gene Silva. It wasn't a 10-8, it wasn't. But I'm saying on the ground at least, just absolutely destroying Gene Silva. Almost finished him, was very close to finishing him. So Gene Silva, he goes for like this stupid spinning move. Diego gets to back, and he's bullying the crap out of Gene Silva. He's smiling while he's doing it. It was awesome. Then round 2 comes along, and this round was a bit worrisome for somebody that was rooting for Diego. Now, I didn't pick Diego to win, but we'll get to that after this. But I was rooting for Diego. And so he's getting just pieced up. Gene Silva is really, really building momentum in this round. Really, really, really building momentum. He's throwing nasty, just spinning elbows, and he's throwing little elbows and little kicks from weird places. He's just a little goblin with his little punches. And he was being very dynamic. And he was throwing, again, punches from weird angles and crap. And he was really piecing up Diego. Now, of course, Diego Lopes, like I told you guys, of course, I did pick Gene Silva to win. You guys know that. But I said in my prediction video, the idea that I saw a lot of people saying, oh, Gene Silva by first round KO, Gene Silva by second round KO, Gene Silva's going to KO Diego Lopes. How? Diego Lopes is known to have a granite chin. He does have a granite chin. And in this fight, he had a granite chin. And so, yes, Gene Silva, he probably did have Diego hurt, but I knew that Diego Lopes had a granite chin, which could keep him in the fight, and it did. And he's up against the cage, and Gene Silva's, again, really starting to build some momentum on the feet, but then he gets whacked with a spinning elbow, and he drops really badly, and then, Diego Lopes just pretty much TKOs him, and that was it. And Gene Silva was just, the dog got molested, Israel Adesanya style, the dog got molested. It was really bad. So, great fight, crazy fight, one of the best fights I've probably ever seen, to be honest, for as long as it lasted. And I got to say this, Diego Lopes, I picked him to lose. I picked Gene Silva to win. You guys know that. A lot of you guys did pick Gene Silva to win as well. But I was rooting for Diego. I'm a massive Diego Lopes fan. You guys already know this. You guys that were in my stream were also rooting for Diego, which I love. I love that we all collectively were rooting for Diego Lopes. And so for Gene Silva to kind of prove a lot of us wrong, almost all of us wrong, and pretty much just, he didn't, the thing is with Gene, it's not like he shit the bed or anything. It's not like I looked at that as wow, Gene Silva's just garbage. I was going to say that. If he would have got destroyed in that first round like he almost did, because he almost did get TKO'd, I would have been sitting here saying Gene Silva is dog shit. But it was that second round where he was picking up momentum really, really well. But what he was doing was he was getting way, way, way too wild. And that's how he got caught with a spinning elbow. He was getting way too wild. He was getting way too hungry for a finish. Just way too wild, throwing big shots and overthrowing and just leaving himself open. He got sloppy. And I'm going to, I'm going to do a whole separate video on Gene Silva. I'm sorry. For you Gene Silva fans, you're going to have to bear with me, because I am going to do a separate video on this guy. This guy, mind you, talked so much crap about every fighter you can think of, from Diego Lopes to Ilia Topuria to, I think Amavov even talked smack about, because Amavov, clowned on him. Just so many different fighters. Even Paulo Costa, he talked crap on. Bryce Mitchell, he kept mocking after he beat him. Talked so much trash. Now look at you. Gene Silva. You cannot... You got to be humble, brother. You got to be humble, man. It's annoying. It's annoying that this guy talks so much trash, talks so much shit, put down so many fighters just for no reason. Yeah, you beat Bryce Mitchell, but then you still kept persisting. You talk trash about Diego Lopes when the guy, like, look at who beefs with Diego Lopes? He's like the nicest guy on the planet. Dude's a great fighter. He's apparently, I saw this today, he's a fan of Call of Duty and DBZ, Dragon Ball Z. He bagged Alexa Grasso. Like, how could you hate on this guy? And Gene Silva was just talking smack to him. His whole team was talking smack to him. His corner, his coach. That's why when Diego Lopes KO'd your boy, whoever Gene Silva's coach is, when he KO'd your boy, he went right up to you. I don't know if you guys saw that. He KO'd Gene Silva, and he started talking trash to Gene Silva's coach. Good. So I'm glad that Gene Silva kind of got quote-unquote fraud checked. I wouldn't say fraud checked necessarily. It's pretty darn close. The thing is, the UFC and UFC fans need to stop overhyping these guys that are coming off of Bryce Mitchell wins and Bogdan Gastelum, whatever his name is, wins. Stop. And when I say the UFC too, I mean like the UFC, why is Diego Lopes, why is Gene Silva getting Diego Lopes coming off of a Bryce Mitchell one? That is kind of absurd. I understand some guys do rise to the occasion. We'll get to the co-main event in a second. But Diego Lopes is like the number 2 ranked featherweight on the planet, and Gene Silva got the privilege of fighting him. That's absurd in my opinion. That is kind of absurd. So the UFC, they keep rushing these guys, and it keeps failing. And they were really trying to rush the fighting nerds. And I get it. The fighting nerds, like, I'm not somebody that's going to sit here and root against the fighting nerds and say, oh, yes, let's go. The fighting nerds got fraud checked. I'm not that kind of guy. I am a fan of the fighting nerds, and I'm still going to be a fan of them. But a lot of them talk so much smack. It's like I could even do a whole video on all of them just talking smack. They're so, like, overconfident. And that works when you win. It does. Sure, you can be overconfident when you win, but all 4 of you have lost at some point this year, including Carlos Prates. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. And you all kind of deserve it, to be honest with you, because a lot of you guys, all of you guys in the fighting nerds, are not humble, especially you, Gene Silva. So he got spinning elbowed. It was a tremendous fight. I guess I won't do a fights to make next video. I keep stuttering, sorry. I guess I won't do a fights to make next video, so I'll just do it now. I think Diego should probably face, realistically, I wish it was Yair. You could do the Evloev rematch sometime in December if you want. Or Aljamain Sterling. So, there's options. I would probably prefer you know what? I don't mind the Aljamain Sterling fight, actually. Might as well do that. Aljamain Sterling, Diego Lopes, December. Fuck Evloev. And Gene Silva, you can go face an Uber driver. Now, let's move on to the co-main event. Rob Font versus David Martinez. This was a really good fight, actually. Not as good as the main event, but it was really good. I picked Rob Font to win. If I didn't mention I picked Gene Silva, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that, but I did pick Gene Silva. But I picked Rob Font to win this fight. I thought this fight was really good, and I thought David Martinez really surprised me because he did really good in the first round. I think the second round Rob Font might have won, but in my opinion, Rob Font just was not doing enough. And in that third round, he was getting pieced up. He had like one good moment or like a few good moments, I think, in round 2, which is the round he might have won. But, like, he just wasn't doing enough. He wasn't opening up enough, and he just wasn't letting his hands go enough. And I think David Martinez was. He was just throwing more. He was just opening himself up more. And I got to say, David Martinez looked obscenely fast, and I was just really impressed by him. Like, the fact that in your second ever UFC fight, you've never even went 3 rounds, like, in the UFC, that is. Like, your last fight, your first fight, your debut fight was like a 10-second fight, basically. It was like a minute long, where you got a KO in the first round in Mexico. Then you come back, and on short notice, you get dealt the Rob Font card, which Rob Font is beating guys like Adrian Yanez and Gene Matsumoto, and I honestly would have probably picked him to beat Raul Rosas Jr., to be honest. Even after watching this fight, I probably still would have picked him to beat Raul Rosas, but Raul Rosas, however you say that dumbass's name. But David Martinez, man, he really impressed me. And the fact that you did this on your second ever UFC fight is kind of absurd. So you got to kind of glaze him a little bit there. And yeah, not much else to say here, man. To do this on your second ever UFC fight to Rob Font. And in my opinion, Rob Font is good. It's not like Rob Font is like a fraud, or I've seen people say, yo, Rob Font's. No, Rob Font's good. But David Martinez was just really fast, and he was just first. So Really, really impressive performance. Rafa Garcia versus Jared Gordon. I picked Jared Gordon to win. And this one kind of, well, first of all, I didn't expect Jared Gordon to come in with a knee pad because I don't know if you guys know this. He legit got hit by a car yesterday, apparently. This is what Bilal Muhammad said. And I think they are trading partners. And so I did not expect a one-legged Jared Gordon to fight, but he still did pretty good. He still did pretty good with his one leg. But Rafa Garcia did really good in this fight, really surprised me. His combinations were really slick. This fight was fun. I really liked this fight. I thought this whole card was like insane. There was a lot of like just really good scraps on this card. Like anyone who thinks this card was trash, I just don't really agree with you at all. I think this card was really, really good. And I think, yeah, this fight was another one of those fights that was really fun. It was a bit scrappy. It was kind of like the two unks going at it. Not in a John Jones way, but in a fighting way. But, Rafa Garcia, he was just a little bit better. He was a little bit scrappier. He had a little bit more power. And Jared Gordon, he's good himself, don't get me wrong, but I think Rafa Garcia was just a little bit better in this fight. And he ended up finishing him in round 3. I forget. I think he might have dropped him. Yeah, I think he just dropped him with like something. It must have been like a right hook, and he TKO'd him, and it was... No, you know what he did, actually? He TKO'd him. Then he had him in like a submission of some kind. And I'm pretty positive Jared Gordon was already out. Then it got like Jared Gordon got out of the submission, and then TK. I don't know. It was a great TKO, great fight. Yeah. Kelvin Gastelum, Dustin Stoltzfus. This was another great fight. This was actually an insane fight. This fight was a freaking war. Kelvin Gastelum won. I picked him to win. He won. I did not want him to win in this way, though. It's not really something that I'm, this guy missed weight by 6 pounds, guys. Look, they had to literally shrink his PNG. They had to shrink his image because of how fat he is. Like, this guy sucks. Honestly, I'm really annoyed that this guy came in 6 pounds overweight because... just like that, he shouldn't even. This fight should have not been made, bro. I understand. Stoltzfus got like most of his purse. I get that. He got like 30%, 40%. I get that. That's cool. But Kelvin Gastelum should have just not. This fight should have been canceled. But I'm glad it didn't get canceled because this was a war. This was a great fight. Both guys had really good moments. I thought Stoltzfus won the first, and to be honest, I can't even remember who won the. I think it was like Stoltzfus won the first, and Gastelum definitely won the second, but it was competitive, and he won the third as well. They both had moments where they kind of rocked each other. I think Stoltzfus had like a few moments. Like there was a moment where he had the back of Gastelum, and he was just landing like crazy shots, and he might have had like a submission or two that was close, and Gastelum dropped Stoltzfus a few times. It was just a crazy back and forth fight. But Kelvin Gastelum won. He's fat, and he didn't really even seem apologetic. He was like, yeah, I apologize to his team that I came in overweight, and shut the fuck up. Go eat a taco. Alexander Hernandez, Diego Ferreira. I picked Alexander Hernandez to win. This one was kind of an easy pick. Not an easy pick, I shouldn't say that, but I thought this was one of those where I'm like, I can't really see Diego Ferreira winning. I thought it would be a decision, though. I didn't think Hernandez would KO him. He did. Diego Ferreira did look good in the first, and he was doing all right in the second on the feet, but Alexander Hernandez just KO'd him in the second. What pisses me off about Hernandez is that he's good. Like, he's very good. He's got good wrestling, he's got good power, but he doesn't... There's something with the way he fights where he doesn't, like, unload fast enough. He kind of almost allows himself to sometimes just make these fights competitive. He has power. Like, he should have really just went for Diego Ferreira a little bit more. Rather, because he was kind of on his way to losing like a pointy, boring decision to Diego Ferreira, but he did KO him. Really, really impressive. Of course, he made that quick turnaround from the Chase Hooper fight, so I'm really glad that we got to see this. He's good. Alexander Hernandez is finally, he's finally on a good run. You know what I mean? He's kind of, he's cooking, so really impressive. Santiago Luna versus Quang Lee. This was, my chat enjoyed this one. So, Santiago Luna... I picked him to win, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I picked him to win. I didn't know too much about the guy, to be honest with you. I'm not going to pretend like I did. And I called this guy the Mexican Superboy because he looks kind of like Superman if he was Mexican, in my opinion. And he had a really, really great finish in this fight. I think Quang Lee might have had a few moments early on in the round where he was kind of really piecing up Santiago Luna. But Santiago Luna just got a really nasty KO against Quang Lee. I don't remember exactly how it went. Don't call me a casual. I think it was against the cage, actually. I think Quang Lee was against the cage, and he kind of got slumped over. Yeah, I think I'm remembering right. There was a lot of finishes. Bear with me. I'm sorry. But Santiago Luna, man, great look, great fighter, has really good wrestling, apparently. He's like a 3-time Mexican national champion or something. And obviously he has power. So I was really impressed by this performance. Hopefully this guy ends up being something because, I was really impressed, and he's got a great look. No homo, no bromo, shout no bromo. Jose Daniel Medina versus Egghead. Egghead I thought did really good in this fight. My chat also loved this one. Egghead, Dusko Tudorovic. This guy does have a fucking egghead, but he got the submission in the first round. I don't even understand how Jose Daniel Medina, got signed. Like, I don't even understand how he was employed. But I guess every time he fights, it baffles me. How was this guy even, I don't understand. But Dusko Tudorovic won. He subbed Daniel Medina, I believe, with a rear naked choke. It was a pretty solid performance. It wasn't nothing crazy, but Daniel Medina is not good. But Egghead, Dr. Eggman himself, Dusko Tudorovic. I think I have a fucking booger in my nose. Sorry. Dusko Tudorovic. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. The Serbian demon himself. Claudio Puelles versus the GOAT Joaquim Silva. This is the guy that rocked Arman Sarukian famously. This fight was pretty solid, I thought. It wasn't nothing too crazy. I thought it at times was a bit boring. I think Claudio Puelles is just not really good in my opinion. I did pick Joaquim Silva to win, by the way, and I also picked Tudorovic to win. I should have said that. Sorry, who gives a fuck? You guys don't even care, right? But I did pick Joaquim Silva to win. I did all right on picks, by the way, on this whole card, to be honest with you. I picked Joaquim Silva to win. He had a few moments. This fight wasn't too much to glaze or goon about, to be honest with you. This is not one that I would really, really recommend watching back, but it was all right. Claudio Puelles, in my opinion, is just so... He relies so much on his grappling, but his grappling is so mediocre that it's just like, what are you even doing here, bro? Just fucking go go play fucking soccer in Peru, man. Anyways, Tatiana Suarez, Amanda Lemos. Speaking of soccer, we got another Mexican here. Amanda Lemos is shit. Tatiana Suarez is not very good. I picked her to win, of course. I thought this was one of those where I just feel like, first of all, I didn't like this fight at all. This fight, in my opinion, was very mediocre. Tatiana Suarez, she's got solid grappling, but she could barely get down Amanda Lemos, and Amanda Lemos had a lot of grappling openings. I don't even want to try to talk about that. This fight sucked, man. I'm sorry. I can't pretend to enjoy it actually the grappling exchange. This fight was dog shit. Tatiana Suarez is really not good, and Amanda Lemos is really not good, but somehow they're in the top 5, so it's all good. I picked Suarez to win, so another pick right, I guess. Jesus Aguilera versus whatever this kid's name is. I picked Jesus Aguilera to win. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. It was a close fight, but I thought he did enough to win rounds 1 and 3, I believe. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid fight, solid little scrap. I thought these prelims were actually the weaker parts of this card. I thought the main card was really where the money was at. These prelims were kind of like Aguilera versus Guru was good, but it wasn't as good as like fucking Jared Gordon's fight, for example, or the co-main event. Maybe it was as good as the co-main, though. But I picked Jesus. He won. He kind of looks like the Mexican Cal Fernandez, or like the Mexican... this guy's really short, by the way, this Jesus Aguilera guy. He's like really short. I understand he's a flyweight, but damn, he's like a midget. Zachary Reese versus Cedric Dumas. This was unfortunate because, unfortunately, Cedric Dumas, he's not going to be able to... have a bunch of children with his baby mamas. That's so racist. Zachary Reese won because he TKO'd Cedric Dumas. Anyways, no, I'm kidding. It was a no contest. He got kicked in the balls. He said he could barely walk or something. His left ball is numb. He legitimately said this. Zachary Reese, I picked him to win, but I guess it's a no contest, so it is what it is. Honestly, I thought Zachary Reese was probably winning on the feet. I don't know. This fight didn't last very long, but I don't know. Dumas, I kind of feel bad for him because it's like he had like $10 in his bank account going into this fight, but Then again, maybe if you stopped committing crimes, and that's not racist, he legitimately is like in and out of jail right now. If you stop committing crimes, Cedric Dumas, you wouldn't have $10 in your bank account. Alessandro Costa versus Alden Coria. Alden Coria got a really great finish, I thought. This guy trains with Joshua Van. I believe I picked this guy to win. I believe so. If not, then it's fine. I think I did, to be honest with you. But he won. He had a really nasty finish against the cage. This guy, again, trains with Joshua Van, so it kind of explains the nasty hands that he showed in this fight. And, this guy could probably be something, man. He's got a good look. He's got a good fighting style. He's got sick boxing. I'm excited to see this guy progress. Nasty finish. Montserrat Rendon versus Alice Ferreira. Oh, Alice. I picked Alice Ferreira to win. She is shit. Like, she's just really bad, in my opinion. Look, I understand she's 19, but, man, she had a lot of hype. Even from myself, I said, I think she's going to win. I picked her to win. I said, she's got a lot of hype, and I think she's a solid fighter, and blah, blah, blah. But, man, she's just not good, man. Like, even the first 10 seconds, I can kind of see she's not good. And, of course, she is a women's fighter, so I shouldn't have expected much. But you could see that she wasn't good. And can I just mention, by the way, Dominic Cruz mistaking her as the sister of Alex Pereira? That's just so, that's just so retarded, man. Like, how do you even... You don't do any research whatsoever, which is ironic because he accused back in the day Daniel Cormier of not doing research, which is true. Like, DC still doesn't do research, you can tell. But damn, bro, like you yourself obviously don't do research. Sorry, I'm fixing my wig. I'm wearing a toupee. Montserrat Rendon, right? She won, and it was a close fight, but Alice Pereira just didn't do enough. She was getting pieced up at times. This fight sucked. I'm not going to sit here and yap about it, but Alice Pereira, all that hype, and you get fucking... You lose to a Mexican can. Then the opener of this fight card was Rodrigo Cezinando versus Daniel Donchenko. I picked Daniel Donchenko to win. He won. I actually did really, really well on picks, actually. If you look at all of my picks, I did pretty solid. So, yeah, Daniel Donchenko won. He's pretty good. Shout out to Ukraine. And that's all I got for you guys today. It was a card full of great finishes. I'm stuttering all over the place. That's what happens when you do a 6-hour stream. It was more like 4.5 hours. But that's what happens when you do a stream. You stutter. Like, comment, share, sub. I'm going to be doing a full video on Gene Silva being a complete fraud. Maybe I'll even do one on the Fighting Nerds. That's all I got. Shout out Mexico. Shout out Diego Lopes. Shout out Alexa Grasso and Tracy Cortez and Mackenzie Dern and Bruno Brazil. Fuck the Fighting Nerds. Let me know your picks down below. Did you get them right? Did you get them wrong? Love you guys. See you guys. Become a member down below. Fuck John Jones and rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May God rest his soul. God bless you guys. Peace.